Governor Asa Hutchinson set to issue a mandate for everybody in the state to wear face masks in public.
Today, he announced that an executive order will go into effect starting Monday, and violators could be fined. 5 News reporter Nick Camper joins us live with the details. Nick?
Well, Governor Hutchinson said throughout the last couple of months he wanted Arkansans to make the right choice when it came to wearing face masks. Now he's decided to force it.
The number of COVID-19 cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are numbers that speak for themselves and indicate that we need to do more.
After months of denying the need for a statewide mandate, Governor Hutchinson is signing an executive order to require masks when in public.
Any local ordinance has to be consistent with the statewide mandate.
This order will go in effect Monday and will supersede all local ordinances related to face masks. The plan says face coverings will be required at all indoor and outdoor settings where people are exposed to non-household members and where a distancing of 6 feet or more cannot be assured. There will be a penalty for those who do not follow the rule. Those violating the mandate could be cited with a misdemeanor with fines up to $500. Local law enforcement will have the authority to give verbal warnings and remove people that violate trespassing laws. Law enforcement cannot detain or arrest anyone for violation of the executive order.
Masks have been shown to substantially decrease the transmission of COVID and are an essential part of the armamentarium against this disease.
With over 800 new cases from yesterday, the governor and state health officials say it is important to set an example for kids going back to school.
If you're going to ask the children in the school setting to wear face coverings for everyone's health and safety, then the adults must help them to be ready and to set the right example for them.
There are exceptions for people who are unable to wear face masks, and this list of exceptions will be posted on our website. In Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Nick Camper, 5 News.